Okay, we're going over Unit 1, Lesson 2, Section 1, Exercise 14. I opted to go with number 9 for the example. The instructions tell us to translate into Latin. So before we do that, we need to know what jobs each of these words are doing in the sentence. Our sentence is, the sailors do not praise the victory of the slaves. So we're going to start with our subject, the sailors. And we know subjects always go in the nominative case. And is sailors singular or plural? It's plural. So now we have to think, what is sailors in Latin? Sailors, we memorized the nauta, nautai, and I tells us, the AE ending tells us that it is part of the first declension. And when we look at the first declension, and we look at the nominative plural of the first declension, we see that the ending is AE. So AE. Now we're going to move forward. The sailors do not. So do not is our Latin form of non. We have non. And non is directly modifying praise. So praise, we're going to put our stem of praise, which is laud. Lauda. And we need to make sure that our verb matches with our subject. So our verb being a number needs to be plural because our subject is plural. So the plural for loud, lauda, is nt. So if we think ost, mustunt, the nt is going to be our plural, referring to the they of the sailors. So the sailors do not praise the victory. So victory is what they're not praising. That would make it our direct object. And direct objects are put in the accusative form. You look, is victory singular or plural? It's singular. So thinking to the Latin form of victory, we have victoria and victoriae. I ending on your genitive singular is the AE ending. So we know it's going to be the first declension. So now we need to look at the accusative singular ending of the first declension, and that's going to be am. All right, moving on to of the slaves. Of the tells us that this is possessive, slaves possessing the victory. So the slaves' victory, or the victory of the slaves. And we're going to put it in genitive because possessive words go into the genitive. And is this singular or plural? Well, it says slaves, so it's plural. Now, we think of the word for slaves in Latin, and it's servus, servi. Servi ends in the long I, which tells us that it is part of the second declension. And so we are going to look at our second declension masculine with the us-e ending, and we're going to find the genitive plural. Our genitive plural of the second declension masculine is orum. So we have a long O, R, U, M, orum. All right, I think we're ready to write it down. Let's start with our subject, and we're going to write sailors. We're going to start with our stem of sailors of naut, N-A-U-T, naut, I. We're going to add the A-E. Now tie. Now we look next, we have our modifier and our verb. Our verb needs to stand last in the sentence. So we're going to underline that so we don't forget about it. I don't want to get to the end of the sentence and think that I'm done and forget my verb. So I'm underlining it to remind myself to come back to that. Now let's move forward to our direct object, our accusative victory. So we're going to write the stem for victory, which is victori. Victori. Victoriam. We're going to put the am ending. So victoriam. Now moving to our genitive possessive word of slaves. We're going to write the stem of slaves, which is servus, servi. So our stem is servu. And we're going to add our orum. O-R-U-M. So nautai victoriam servorum. Now that we've gotten to the end of the sentence, we can go back and we can put our verb and our verb modifier in. So we're going to put non, needs to stand before the verb. now laudant. So there we have it. Nautai victoriam servorum non laudant. You could also write this as nautai servorum victoriam non laudant. And that's because this is saying the sailors do not praise the victory of the servants, or the sailors do not praise the servants' victory. Either one is correct.